In this video, we'll be installing SaxStudio GelPads in the left-hand stack, meaning the left-hand C, B, Biz, A, and G keys of this Alpine Alto. If you've checked out the earlier videos in this series, this one's going to require a bit more time and patience than those. While leveling the pads is still straightforward, getting all the keys to line up properly will take more effort and is vital for a well-playing horn. When working on the stack keys, I prefer to remove all the old pads and clean off the old cork on the top side of the B and A keys where they come in contact with the arm of the C key. This will allow us to get these pads leveled on their own, then we'll replace the cork and sand it down so that the appropriate keys all close at the same time. Now instead, if the horn uses adjustment screws to line up these keys, you can skip that step and just loosen those screws. We'll start with the G key, since on this particular horn it's completely independent from the other keys. With the key on the horn, try dry fitting the pad to get a visual on how much adhesive we'll need. With the key back off the horn, add the adhesive, place the pad in the cup, and rotate to distribute the adhesive. Place the key back on the horn and re-engage the spring. Gently heat the pad cup, applying only as much pressure on the pearl as is needed to close the key. As the adhesive melts, the pad will level out and you can stop heating. As the adhesive cools, keep a light pressure on the key and hold it level. You can slightly open and close the key to check the orientation. Once the key is back to room temperature, check the seal using your leak light. If all sides of the pad are meeting the tone hole at the same time and no light comes through, then you're done. However, if there are parts of the pad that are leaking, gently heat the pad cup again to soften the adhesive. As it cools, use the awl to put a slight downward pressure on the sides where it's leaking, adjusting it until it again reaches room temperature. It may take a few tries to get it perfectly level, but once it is, it'll stay that way. We'll use the same process for the remaining keys. On this horn, the Biz key is independent from the rest of the left-hand stack, so we'll do it next. Dry fit, add adhesive, place the pad and rotate. Place the key back on the horn and engage the spring. When heating the pad cup to level the pad, I'll push down alternately on the pearl and the arm that's closed by the low F sharp key, ensuring that the pad is level using both methods. Once this pad is level, remove the key from the horn and set it aside for later. Finally, let's tackle the C, B, and A keys together. Since I removed the adjustment cork earlier, we can level the B and A keys without the C key getting in the way. Again, dry fit the pads, then add adhesive, place the pad, and rotate. With the keys back on the horn, engage the springs and start with the C key. Gently heat, closing the key by lifting the arm normally lifted by the B and A keys. Again, using a light pressure, only enough to get the pad to seal. Next, we'll do the B key, using the drumstick to close the key since the pearl will get fairly hot. Heat slowly until the adhesive melts enough for the pad to level using a light pressure. Finally, we'll do the same thing with the A key. With these steps done and the keys at room temperature, check again with the leak light and ensure that there are no leaks when using a minimal amount of force. With these pads now level, we'll line up the B and A keys with the C key so that they close at the exact same time. Try placing different thicknesses of cork between the arms of the B and A keys and the C key. You may find one that's the perfect thickness, but usually I'll find one that's slightly too thick and then sand it down to the perfect height. With the keys back off the horn, apply contact cement to the key and cork, wait for it to become tacky, then stick them together, trimming off any excess. This particular contact cement needs several hours to fully cure, so we'll let that happen before we try to do any sanding. Okay, now that the contact cement has had time to cure, put all of the left-hand stack keys back on the horn and re-engage all the springs. To finish adjusting the B and A keys, we'll sand the cork using the sandpaper strips. Using the leak light, use a gentle pressure to close the B key, keeping an eye on when the C key closes. If the cork is too thick, the C key will seal before the B key. Insert the sandpaper strip in between the B and C keys with the grit towards the cork, gently close the B key, and pull the strip out. Check the adjustment again using the leak light. Depending on the cork, you may need to repeat this step several times before they line up perfectly. Repeat this same process with the A key. The final adjustment we'll need to do is to ensure that the A and Biz keys close at the same time. I think this is the most challenging adjustment when repadding, since any changes you make to the position of the pearl on the A can also affect the adjustment of the C, as well as the regulation between the A and B. If the A is already well adjusted with the C, then finding the right thickness of felt that will close the Biz is the path of least resistance. If you do need to change the orientation of the A key's pearl, get a set of adjustment levers like these, which help you make precise changes. And that's it for the left-hand stack. As we get closer to playtesting the instrument, we may need to make some minor adjustments as the cork settles, but for now, we're good to go. If you'd like to learn more about GelPads, visit our shop at SaxStudio.us.